Rahubat, welcome in. We're going to be talking about the attention span and how it really cripples people and leads people down the wrong path. And I'm going to say wrong path because it sends them down a path of, myths or fabricated stories, rather than a path of truth and actual inner and outer knowing. Lots of times people complain about videos on spiritual help being boring, or even tarot readers who read on useful topics, such as like the self or things of that nature, as not entertaining, which is a huge issue. Attention span has become shorter and shorter over time. Obviously, we see this with media shortening things, making things called shorts to quote unquote their diagram being to save people's time so they can just watch something quickly, retain information quickly, and leave. But in actuality, it's to help shorten attention spans and to have an expectation for these longer videos to just say what they need to say within the first 3 minutes rather than listen diligently. They've turned people into the teacher student that they're supposed to be, into more of a baby, more of a child that hasn't even took a first glance at the world. The attention span is really worrisome, and it's not just for the youth, it's also for the adults, because as time goes on, and it adds on to this pressure as well of having not enough time, or I don't have time to sit down and watch the video, when in actuality you do. It's just you have been surrounded by a lot of stress in your life that makes you not do that. Because instead of spending your time actually studying, learning, doing things that are useful to you, you spend time worrying, stressing, and trying to figure things out that you just simply can't figure out at this time. And shorts come in as a sort of convenience, quote unquote, but it's a double-edged sword, because when you think you retain information, you're really not. And most of the short-timed content is usually just someone pointing up at words that they don't even know what they mean. They're just pointing up and going, ooh, look at this cool subject. And they think that that person telling about that subject knows everything, when 9 times out of 10, not 9 times out of 10, but usually that person who's speaking on that subject is either jumping around, isn't really telling you the full truth of the subject, or is just telling a straight up lie about it. You're not going to retain all the information that you need within 5 seconds or a 10-second or even a minute-long clip, because it takes time for people to process things. It takes time to actually translate the information that's needed. It doesn't work that well. A lot of people think that it does, but unfortunately, your brain is not that developed due to all the toxins, due to the short-term medias, due to the pressure that you put on yourself. Your brain's unable to actually develop to do those sort of things, to retain information that quickly. A lot of people have a hard time doing that. But this makes it hard to actually teach many people in spirituality without adding esotericism or secrets within the title or within the videos, which any Mason will know this is a lie. The biggest secret is that there are no secrets. So anyone saying this is secret knowledge is a big fat liar. There's no secrets. If you know about it, it's not secret. There's no such thing as a secret society because you already know of it. The Masons is not a secret society because everyone knows about them. The Skull and Bones, any society is not a secret society because you know about it. It would be secret if no one knew about it. But once you find out, it's not a secret. That's the thing. And people don't understand that. They think everything has to be esoteric and a hidden meaning. Well, esoteric doesn't mean hidden, it just means secret. And secret can mean hidden, but not all secrets are hidden. Some are in very plain sight, and people just are not aware enough. That's the whole thing. It's your awareness that's the problem, which is tying into the attention span. A lot of people will look up for esoteric knowledge whenever that esoteric knowledge isn't even esoteric, because it's known, or it's something that someone made up, or it's just a repeat copy of something, and people don't understand that, and they like these buzzwords. They like sticking with these They're still a consumer is what they are. They've just, instead of buying things from the government, from the government's media, they then go on the government's platform to either go to an agent or someone that's just spewing out knowledge that they read in a book, thinking that it would help them, not really knowing these things for themselves or having much experience in that field, which is important to know. Many people don't know that there aren't any secrets, so they are blindly led. The truth is, people are lazy and don't wish to research or look into the things themselves. They're always waiting for someone to come in and save them. That's a huge truth for a lot of people. Think of religion, how they think someone's going to come down and save them. Why are you so worried about someone coming down and saving you when you could be doing things that could be saving yourself within that process? Why are you so reliant on that? And it's not to say that it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? But read your scriptures. Are you doing what you need to be doing? And a lot of people like to say yes without even like digging that deep in it. And that's not my problem to dig into. I just test my spirits. And a lot of people get agitated, which shows me who they are immediately. So test yourself. You may have a belief system, a matrix inside of you that has some entity attached to it that's keeping you in a falsified loop rather than doing what you need to do. People forget what spirituality is and make it a religion, which is unfortunate. When in actuality, spiritualism was the way of the Egyptians. Their way of life was spiritual. But then when religion came from the Romans and the Catholics and everyone who raided the practices, many people ended up praising the two gods, which is Ra and Seth, the rising and the setting, right? The birth and the death. You can see this by looking up spiritual YouTube channel on YouTube, fully and truly, because you'll see words like Christian pop up almost immediately. If that doesn't alarm you, then look both of those words up, look up the etymology of them, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a difference between religion and there's a difference between spirituality. This confusion leads to two paths, a spiritual one and a religious one, leaving people open to all types of issues. Lies, mythology, but most importantly, drama, which a lot of people love drama. If there's one community that loves to sit around and argue with people all the time, it is the spiritual and conscious community, because they think that there's something that they're not. A lot of people think that they're these gods or goddesses because they just have an issue with themselves. They have an identity crisis. There's a huge identity crisis within the spiritual community because everyone's like, my sister's this, my sister's that. No, they're not. There can only be one, and I bet if I even asked them certain questions, they wouldn't be able to answer them at all. So they can't be that person. You cannot be a soul of a god unless you are an avatar. Do you remember the movie Avatar? How they sent a man into another world. That's the same thing that these gods are doing. Unless you are actually one of those, you cannot be a god or goddess, okay? Understand these things. People just like to think that they are all the time, and they're not. There's only one, and you have to be an avatar to do so. And you would know if you were an avatar. A lot of people don't look into these things. They just hear words and go, oh, I like this. Do actual digging. This is very, it's worrisome. It really is, because a lot of people are so lost. They are so lost. It's unbelievable, and they need to find their way back home. But anyway, the general population likes drama. That's just in general. And when you look around the spiritual community, that's all there really is, even if the drama is between the person and their self. This drama keeps their attention and allows for distortion. Drama is a huge attention span keeper when it comes to attention spans. You either stay for education or for drama. Some stick for both, if and when it applies. Others will lie to you or repeat what they read in a book rather than what they know. Anyone can read a book and know things, but few will be born or experience that knowledge, which leads to the wisdom. And this is a huge separator. If you aren't regurgitating someone else's words, you're going to be overlooked most of the time. A lot of people just want to hear what has already been written because they believe that that's the correct way of being, when it's not. A lot of times when people regurgitate things, they lie. It's the same. It's like, I don't know. It's confusing because people have this double-edged sword that they're not really paying attention to. They they're aware of the Bible and how the Bible has been translated and stuff. And I'm going to use that as an example because it's a very general example. It's going to catch people's attention, right? So we use that. A lot of people know that the Bible has been translated multiple fucking times. Some people know, not even a lot, but some people know that Paul deceived a lot of people in the Bible by writing half of the books. You know, a lot of people don't even know that Elohim is plural, right? So you have that, but then people look up and gratify and glorify all these other people who wrote books whenever they could just be talking out of their ass. They could just be reading another book that someone else wrote and then copying what they said, but in their own words, which really is what Paul prophesied, if you really want to get down and deep in it, because he will not prophesy, but really started because Paul said, I know things. Why can't I write a book? And then he started writing a book. And even though that's not a bad preface to start off on, it shows you the egotism of who Paul was, the deceiver, those that think they can do something, so they go ahead and do it. And instead of being truthful, they tell a lie just to throw people off whack. And something I noticed with attention spans in the spiritual community or conscious communities is that they aren't actually grounded. And I'm not talking about the root chakra. I'm not talking about those types of meditations. I'm talking about having a solid base to rely on. Many people are under what I like to call energy hypnosis. I like to say that is when the energy of a person is louder than their message. And that goes for anyone. Books, however. This is how people like Bobby Hemmett could say whatever they wanted and still have people to believe them. Yes, Bobby Hemmett lied to y'all about a lot of things. He really did. Especially when it comes to carbon, melanin, and 666. Boy, woke up and did a somersault out of bed and cracked his forehead open and then started splurting out some bullshit. I don't know what he's talking about half the time, but a lot of what Bobby Hemmett says is not even it. Y'all should really look into it, okay? Y'all gratify that man too much. I've got to keep it a bean. This is why we need grounding. Actual fact, knowing biology and science. This is how you're going to get the basis. This is how you're going to get a solid grounding. And the deeper that you go into either the subjects of sciences and biology, it becomes spiritual. Ironically, this is why so many people say science is of the devil, because the devil could never allow a truth to exist. They even go as far as to say that there is no truth, just to hide. This is a strong way to point out who is a devil, by the way. If you're looking for who a devil is, when they say that there is no truth or there's multiple truths, they don't know who they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just listening to the devil. There is a truth. There is one truth. There are multiple paths that lead to one truth. That does not mean the path is the true path, though. Right? And the devil doesn't like truth. The devil could never tell the truth. The devil could never speak fully and authentically. That's how you can tell. A lot of people are devils. They don't want to admit it. Unfortunately, they are. The devil wants to confuse, and what's the best way to confuse? To say that there are two truths rather than one. It's the same riddle as there's two guards at the door. One tells the truth, one tells a lie. Those are both devils in a sense, because you'll never know which one tells the truth, which one tells the lie, because of the way they're acting. They're both playing the same game, but on different playing fields. You might want to say that one's an angel and one's a demon. No, they're both the devil. Because they'll both lie to you about the truth and then tell truth about the lies. That's how that riddle's made. Anyway, there are two sides of a coin, but the truth is the coin itself. The sides are only the point in which the light is and where the dark is, or what is seen and what is hidden. Right? With the decline of attention spans in general, though, it makes it hard to speak about truth, as it's not always wild, or even, it's not crazy, it's not wild half the time, as much as a lie or a rendition would be. People want to see movie-like scenarios. People crave that type of excitement, because they're killing time rather than spending time. And this is a huge indicator of what you need to do as well. Don't kill time, spend time. Time is your currency, okay? You shouldn't be bored, ever. You could always research and learn and do things to feed your soul. And this is the split between those who want to evolve and those who want to revolve. Revolve means to make a circle. A revolution is just people walking around in a circle. Look at it. Oddly enough, those who place themselves in these movie-like scenarios always end up complaining about it or getting stuck in them I don't really have a full explanation for why they like to do this or why they get stuck. All I can say is that they got what they wished for at the end of the day, which is to be stuck in that movie situation and to try and be some form of hero when they should have just been focusing on themselves or on a different plane. The star of the show is usually the one that falls the hardest, and many can't handle that, yet they want to experience the glow up of that individual, which is rough because it's the movie magic. It makes it look so simple, but what you don't realize is it takes actual effort and energy on your behalf. So a lot of people fall short on that end. But movies, media, and all sorts of online videos kill the attention span of people and create falsities in their mind. Unfortunately for them, they are underdeveloped. They're not evolving. They're not developing at all, and they need to train themselves to get back up to the standards of like what they wish to be. Doing brain exercises like memory games, hand-eye coordination, learning, studying, eating healthy will help you regain brain function. Sleeping as well. Eating nuts, eating like lion's mane mushroom will help you. Ashwagandha, things of that nature. Just getting your brain back up to gear is important. And it's not only important to feed your brain, but your soul. Your soul needs maturing in totality, not polarity, or duality. You cannot be polarized in this realm. You cannot be someone that's focused on both sides, because then you can be aware of both sides, but you have to pick one you want to be on. You know what I mean? It's not like, because here's the thing. It's the whole thing of the praising of the two gods. You're either praising both of them, which is leading you nowhere, or you're praising one of them and walking that way. When you're stuck in fear, you're praising the devil. When you're stuck in forward movement and gratitude, you're praising the higher energies, the God, if you will. I would just say it that way. You know, whoever your God is, whoever your Most High is, whoever your Most High is, whoever your L is. If y'all, I know some of y'all are like that, but anyway, it's important to do that, because if you're praising both the fear and the success of it, you're most likely going to get what you fear, because you are basically breeded and operating off of that fear daily, and that fear is the main point for your manifestations to come in. So it's important to just focus on what you desire rather than what you don't want, And so it's like, let's say you are about to get fired, right? But you have another job that you're wanting to go to anyway. Instead of focusing on getting fired, just focus on getting a new job from that point, right? Because if you're focused on getting fired, now you're killing time. Now you're no longer sending time to the things that you're wanting to focus on and what you're wanting to build up. And instead, you're feeding that energy of, oh, well, I'm going to end up getting fired, so I'm going to stress that about getting fired, not knowing what I'm going to do with money and stuff of that nature, right? Don't praise the two gods. Praise one, whichever one you're going to praise is up to you. But just know that if you're feeding into fear, if you're feeding into that anger, into those lower vibrations, you're over there with the devil, and you're having fun with the devil, and that's where you want to be, and that's cool. Because if you didn't want to be there, you would be switching your energy from focusing on the lack and then focusing on the abundance, which you can do. If you don't know how to, it's because you've been so used to praising the devil and asking for God to come and save you, rather than taking the steps that you personally need to relieve that pressure to get yourself out of the situation. And it's really unfortunate, because a lot of people who come on the spiritual path, they don't understand the first thing about coming on the spiritual path is you were right there with the devil. And that was your first save. And that should have been your awakening of, oh shit, if I had to get saved in this side of way, and I was in these weird situations where all this stuff was happening, then who was I next to? Obviously not the Most High, right? So it's just important to remember these things moving forward in any sort of way. Work on getting your attention span up. Memory games are really going to help you with that. Even if it's like, what is that game called? 40-20, whatever the fuck that is with the blocks, and you add them up from like we go like the 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 24 to 30, you know how it goes all the way up. It's whatever that game is, Sudoku, word puzzles, things of that nature. Doing games like that are really going to help you get your memory up and regain your brain. Even doing certain hand motions for hand-eye coordination, you know, tapping each finger on your thumb, and then like switching them up, like doing it at separate times and stuff of that nature, helps you regain your brain function. Just doing things that's actually going to help your brain rather than your ego, because a lot of people on the spiritual journey are still so stuck with gratifying the ego part of themselves that they don't even grasp how it's hurting them, because they believe that it's giving them this soul nourishment when it's not. When you begin to actually nourish your soul, you'll see a difference. And there are people that already know how to do that, but for the majority of part, people don't know how to. People are always looking for things to calm their nerves rather than to take them back home. But regardless, we are on the journey to get home, wherever your home is. And that's up for you to decide. I can't tell you where your home is. No one can tell you where your home is. And if they dare say that they can, they're fucking lying. They better be able to tell you your entire life story, names, dates, times, everything, before they even dare tell you where you came from. Because if anyone's doing that shit, they're lying to you, and you're just feeding into a trap. Trust me on it. Test them spirits, because a lot of them are liars. A lot of them want to assume that you're from one place, and then whenever you have your waking and you end up somewhere else, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? But regardless, I love you all so much. Y'all know the drill. Everything is in the description. And thank you all for the patience. I don't know when this video is going to be uploaded either. We're finally just now getting these videos uploaded. I had a 9-day fast that I did, and that was exhausting. I DJ'd during the 9-day fast, which even made me even more exhausted. So yesterday I had a break. I just couldn't do anything because I DJ'd on Saturday, and then yesterday I was like just dead. Sunday I was dead. So we're going to record this, see if it can come up today. But thank you all for the patience. I love you all so much. We're kicking it back into gear. You all know how it is. But everything's in the description. Thank you all for all the support, likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations. Thank you for enjoying the series. Thank you for sticking around. We're going to be cranking it up a lot of notches here and talking about a lot of other subjects because of that post that I made on the community tab. But regardless, I love you all so much. See the moon and back tenfold and forever, and I will see y'all later.